the class meeting itself is a really important part of our, if you will, social emotional curriculum, mostly because it gives students a voice, and because our school belongs to the League of Democratic Schools, we really do believe that students are an important part of what happens in the classroom. And while they don't get to choose necessarily the curriculum most of the time, we do have class meetings as an opportunity for them to bring to the table problems that they have. Often they're social problems, things that come up on the playground, issues around sometimes the larger community. Right now my classroom agenda has things about problems with sweeping the floor in the lunch jobs. Another problem, a safety issue with children in the wagon at recess running each other over and not being careful about who's in charge. And something else I can't remember, but those are things that they feel like they have some responsibility to help solve.
Another important thing we do at the beginning of the year is develop our classroom social contract for the year. Because we teach in mixed age classrooms, we have the same students in intermediate for 3 years. Every year our social contract looks different. We have a few different models we kind of cycle between. And this year I'm trying a new model, which is based on the Whatcom Day Academy beliefs that the school has. And my goal was to have the students interpret the Whatcom Day Academy beliefs in our classroom. To do this, we started by listening to a This I Believe essay from the National Public Radio series. We actually picked up one from the original 1950s editions of This I Believe. I picked one by Robert Heinlein because we're also studying space and we'll be studying science fiction, so there's a little connection there. But looking on the wall, we can see that the Whatcom Day Academy beliefs include a safe, supportive environment nurtures learning. So the students' ideas included things like we need to support our classmates, safety, so safe and supportive to them meant being prepared for an earthquake, so physical safety, having nice teachers, being nice to each other, not being a greedy hog, not calling names, and so forth. So I've kind of condensed this into a statement that tomorrow in our class meeting we're going to try to pass our interpretation. So other beliefs, children learn as part of a community. Here, teamwork is required. Let us work in partners. So here they're saying if we believe in children working in community, then we need to be allowed to work in community. Here, children have intrinsic curiosity and the capacity to learn. So one of the things they put is we need to ask questions and we need to be allowed time to try to answer the questions that we have. And one of the things about the capacity to learn is never give up. Don't give up on yourself. The teacher can't give up on us, and really believe that we can learn. Children learn in different ways and have different interest styles and paces. Sometimes we need more time. We need to be patient with each other. Children should have choice about what they learn. Not all children like the same stuff. So that's their interpretation, and I've written it up. Learning is an internal process that requires personal engagement. Children learn through doing real tasks. I'm asking 8, 9, and 10-year-olds to interpret this. Personal engagement, they got bring your brain to school. It takes you to choose to learn. Children learn in an integrated way. This one was a little bit harder for them, so I kind of led this one first. And they get that integrated means looking for relationships between things and working together and looking at the whole system. So I've rewritten that as well. So tomorrow's class meeting will be about everybody voting on an interpretation of these beliefs as our class beliefs for our social contract. Then over the course of the year as I'm teaching, and if the kids are starting to kind of fall off the apple cart, talking, forgetting to do their homework, wanting to do only their way and their thing, I'll say, remember, we know that everybody has different styles. This is what that means in our classroom, so we have an agreement that we're going to be patient with each other. We're going to understand that everybody needs things done a little bit different way. One of the challenges for me, for instance, is here it says children learn through doing real tasks and making things that show their understanding of the world. So I have a little boy who wrote, we need to do handcrafts. We need to be making things more often. And I think he's right. So I'm going to have to challenge myself to live up to my end of the social contract by finding more ways to give him opportunities to use his hands in his learning.
So today we were having a class meeting, and we have a class meeting every week. Now, why do we have a class meeting?
So we can not learn.
Peter, before we start our meeting, why do we have a class meeting?
Because if something's being too like loud, or if someone's using too much of something, or if someone's being mean to another person, or if they're not listening to me, then we can put it on the agenda and talk about it.
We can talk about it, that's right. And talking about it, what does that help us do? And the reason that I did start talking about why we have class meeting is that some students were saying, oh, this is really boring. And one student was saying, well, I don't care, it's not a problem for me. And they didn't see how they were part of that problem or why they even needed to think about it. And so we've been talking about how it helps us solve problems and help us talk about it without pushing and fighting and doing things that hurt others, that there's a way to solve it instead. About it. What does that help us do when we talk about it? Helps us learn how to solve the problem, doesn't it? Yeah, instead of whacking each other or shouting at each other or pushing each other, because none of us like that. That always makes us feel bad. And the way, how we come up with an idea for our topics for a class meeting is we have an agenda on the wall, and students can write down a problem or something that's bothering them, and they sign it. And then when we have our class meeting, then when the topic comes up, we put it out for everybody to discuss. But first I describe what the problem is, and then I ask the child who put it up on the agenda to tell us what the problem is, what are they seeing, and why are they concerned about it? Why is it a problem? People are lining up when we're going to go do something. And pretend like this is our class. And we have a line, it looks really good. Here's the front of our line up here. Excuse me, Haley, can you move over a little? And somebody comes along in the line, and they want to get in line, and they see a space here, and they get in line right there. But there's more people right here, aren't there?
And then another guy goes, hey, I'm going to come in front of you, and they push them.
Yep, and somebody else might come along into line, and they might say, oh, there's a space right there. They get in line. And people get angry. And Anderson?
Yeah, but then I want it to be like this.
And then
a person comes along and he's like, oh, there's no space. And then he goes to the end of the line, just there's a space. And then they usually do this. And they come along, and then they get in line. But what I want to see is people doing this. And there's a spot, and they see it, but then they ignore it, and they go to the back of the line. That's what I want to see.
So that's what you want to see. And so today, when we were having our class meeting, we were reviewing the problem, and we were using little people. I got these little people out because it really helps at this age to see visually what's going on. And children were really getting excited and jumping in and wanting to show the class what they were seeing and acting that out. And so that helped them to see ways that they could describe the problem to their classmates. And then from there we have comments, and anybody can make a comment. We have a stick that we pass around to help with the management of taking turns, and when you have the stick you can make comments about the problem. And often children do see the same problem, and they can agree, or they can add stories, personal stories. And that's really important, because if it's personal to them, then they'll be interested in trying to solve that problem. And so next, after that, then we talk about solutions and ideas for solutions. And then from there, sometimes we vote on it, sometimes we don't need to vote on it. There's real consensus about things that we can try, and sometimes there's more than one solution that we can apply to the problem.
I want to see.
So that's what you want to see happen.
And I don't want I want no spaces. So, and then, because people just go around like that and say, ooh, there's a spot there, and then I want people to make no spaces, and they scoot like this. A little girl.
A little girl. she's coming up to the line, what would she say, Peter?
Are you in line?
Who would she say it to? This person or this person?
This person.
So she would say, Peter's, what would she say? Tell us.
Are you in line?
Are you in line? And what would he say?
Yes.
Oh, so what would she do, Peter?
She go to the end of the line.
Go to the end of the line.
And then this person.
Okay, Artie? And so that whole process can take 2, 3, or 4 weeks because it's hard to sit for a long time at this age. And so we will come back to it. So after about 12 minutes, we stop. And then the following week when we pick it up again, we review it and talk through it again. And so, let me see who else said. Oh, Adam. Adam said this last week. He said, when people are cutting, I get mad and upset and I don't like it. So what we realized was that sometimes, I'm going to take this person out, pretend like he's not in line. Sometimes this is what happens. In talking about it, we realize that sometimes somebody comes up in line and they see a space and they think that's the end. They don't realize, they don't notice those people. Sometimes what happens is people come up in line and they think, hey, I'm going to get to the front of the line. I'm just going to take that space. Does that happen sometimes?
Yeah. But then I wanted to.
I realize at this age that it's just a learning process. I don't expect them to become ambassadors and be really good at it. Yeah, they're practicing and it's in transition and it'll take them a long time, but the successes I see from the beginning of the year and where they are now is great, and they'll just keep getting better at it. But it takes a long time, especially 12 minutes at a time every week, and then trying to practice it in their lives. And so just learning that language around how we talk amicably but yet not agree about something that's a problem is just a great way to learn to grow up.
Every classroom in the school is using class meetings now, sometimes to develop jobs, sometimes to develop social contracts, and always to solve the problems that students bring. And when we're done with this, we've done our class jobs, we've done our social contract. Right now we have a class meeting agenda that the children are already adding more problems of their own to be solved over here. Okay, so this is our class meeting agenda, which the students own. So they have written some ideas that they think we need solutions to, including playing games at lunch, what the rules are about climbing in the trees on the playground, whether or not we're ready for hot drinks in our class, something about binders I don't understand, something about stacking chairs. One little boy wants to have show and tell, which we do in the younger grades, and we usually don't do it this grade, but who knows. And somebody wants to rename our class, a new name for the intermediate class. She wants a different name. So these are all topics we'll bring up at future class meetings. Okay, we have a joint class meeting today. The first two items have to do with eating outside at lunch. And one of them you guys brought up, and one of them I brought up on behalf of Mrs. Phelan, or Ms. Phelan, and I think also Maestra might feel that way too. So here's a couple issues. You now have the privilege of eating outside at lunch once a week. That's a privilege you've negotiated for. Everybody's pretty happy with eating outside once a week, but now that the weather's improved, I think some other people have brought up, so the people representing this problem are Liam, Avery, Nachito, and Jimmy. Would one of those people be willing to tell me more about the problem that you have? Okay, Liam, I'm going to call on you. Go ahead.
I kind of want to eat outside once because some, like, say like on Monday, it's really nice and we eat outside, but then there are like a lot of other nice days and we won't eat outside again because it's been really nice for like the whole week.
Okay. Does anybody else in that committee of people that brought that problem up have anything else to add? Jimmy?
For Ivy, I know you don't really like eating outside. Maybe not like 50 times a week or like 7 times a week. Maybe like twice. Like last year we had, I think, twice a week.
Okay, so you're recognizing that 5 might be too many and maybe 2 would be a place in the middle.
Yeah.
And I'd like to really appreciate the fact that, okay, so Jimmy is saying more than once, maybe 2 could be enough. Jimmy, what is the total number of possibilities?
5.
5. So even though you said 5, Jimmy knows that, or 50, that we're not going to do it 50 times.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at here, maybe moving to 2. Okay, does anybody else have anything to add? Colin?
Well, in order to really do this, then we need to get Miss Phelan's opinion.
So we need the adult supervisors.
Opinions on like how comfortable they feel doing eating outside and if they're willing to do another one.
Colin, I love you. I love it. Did everybody hear? Colin said, 1, we need someone else's opinion, the people involved, and 2, he recognized that they have opinions and feelings about that, so he said, we really need to know how comfortable they would be with doing that. So yeah. You guys are just Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, Connor.
I do agree with Liam that since the days are getting really nice now and it's really hot out, like today, that we could have like maybe 2 times a week.
Okay. Thank you. Your vote is registered. Ivy.
I know that I've never liked eating outside, that it kind of bugs me, and I know that I won't do it, but I'm okay with people eating outside. I don't really mind.
As long as there's still a provision
Yeah,
for you to eat inside.
yeah.
All right, so,
Just like that's
see,
all.
Ivy is one of the few dissenters, and she's saying it doesn't work for her, but she stands behind the idea that it works for the rest of you, and she's willing to support that. So good for her. That's generosity on her part. Thank you. Okay, Avery.
I know, I also agree that we would need adult supervision, and I know that we also have to check with you and the other people who would be watching people inside, because there might be more people that want to eat inside on
So you're
another
suggesting
day.
that if you were allowed to eat out more often, some people might feel like Tegla and not want to eat out that often, and so
Yeah.
we might end up with more people wanting to stay indoors, and then there's an indoor supervision
And also,
problem.
personally, I kind of want to eat out maybe 2 or 3 days a week.
So you want to go from here to there?
Yeah.
Okay, Katie.
Yeah, I really, really want to eat outside more, because when it's sunny, we're like, I want to eat outside, but we already did it once already.
So you're up for as many days as you can get.
Yes.
Okay, I hear that.
Me too. Many days there it's sunny.
Okay, you want to eat out any day it's sunny? Okay, all right. What I want to say, kind of what Katie was saying, is that even though you've been allowed, Katie, thank you for looking at me when I'm talking to you, that you would really like to all this time have been eating 5 times a week outside and only once, but you're living with that even though it's not your first choice. So you're making a compromise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Does anybody?
Part of what my goals were this year was to incorporate classroom meetings into the classroom and give the children a democratic voice where their ideas and concerns helped make our community a stronger community. And so I tried to implement some of those more formal class meetings at the beginning of the year. It was just not working. It wasn't, the children didn't feel successful. We didn't feel successful. So we changed it to apples and lemons at the end of the day, kind of an ending circle where the children each had a voice. They had a turn to talk about the apples, something good that happened during the day, and then they also had an opportunity to talk about something sour, a lemon, that happened during the day. Lucas, what is an apple in your day? What was something shiny and sweet?
It was when I was playing with the other Lucas and Logan, and my father and Katie, and Ann and Bailey and Chanel, and Connor. We were playing Rescue Flying Airplane, and it was called Rescue Flying Landing Airplane and Taking Off Airplane. And that's what we played, and they were all using good airplane manners.
Good airplane manners. And how did that make you feel when they used those nice manners?
It makes me very happy.
Does make you very happy. That's good. Did you have any lemons for today?
I didn't.
You didn't have any lemons? Awesome day. Good job. Emma, do you have an apple for today? Yeah?
My apple is I was playing with Logan, Connor, and we were trying. We and Danica.
Mm-hmm.
We were going down the slide, like goinking everywhere,
You were goinking everywhere? And that was a good thing?
and they were all using super duper nice words,
What kind of nice words did they use?
super double words.
For example, can you give me a nice word? So our other friend. Thank you. Oh, they were using nice words. And how did that make you feel when they used those nice words with you?
It made me so happy.
Makes me happy when people talk nice to me too. Do you have any lemons?
Nope.
No lemons? Good job. Nice day. Connor, do you have an apple? Couple children, their goals for the year was for them to be able to stand up for their rights, have their voices heard, and not kind of be the stepping mat in the classroom. And in the little video clip that we've taken, there was a conflict that came up during our apples and lemons. Do you have any lemons? What was your lemon?
Lemon was Katie in Nevada. Katie wanted the butterfly and the rose that I had, and then Nevada just wanted the rose.
Mm-hmm.
And then I gave the rose to Nevada, and then Katie felt sad.
Oh, this is back to the rose problem. And one of the children that I was working with all year, for her to speak up and to take charge of herself in the classroom, she said, well, yes, that did happen. I had the flowers. I tried to share, and it still didn't make anybody happy. So it was a great way of, maybe in the video it didn't look like a big thing. It was huge. We've worked all year for this, and she had a voice, and she was able to say what it was and what she used as a strategy to solve the problem. Well, we just got brand new things in the housekeeping, and maybe we need to have a meeting on Wednesday and kind of talk about what the ground rules are with them. So it made you feel sad that you couldn't make everybody happy? Yeah, shall we talk about that on Wednesday and figure out how we can share those? Yeah. Maybe we need to get more flowers. Would that be a solution? Yeah. Okay. We talked about it after. We came back to it during the day. One of the solutions was I was going to buy more flowers so that there would be more, but I decided, as the group did, when we were talking about it, that we just needed to learn to share, and sometimes there was flowers for everybody, and sometimes they needed to use other materials. So we kind of came to a resolution where I wasn't going to implement the materials. They were going to have to learn how to work it out amongst them, use their words, and we haven't had a problem since. So it came to a good ending.